Every single day I had to use tweezers to pluck the golden scales off this man's body, one by one. While he screamed in agony, I was right there counting my money with a huge grin, because every single one of those scales could sell for an insane price on the black market. He called me a heartless lunatic. I just laughed. I was already doing the math. Once he stopped growing scales, would the rest of him be worth even more? After all, I'd spent a fortune buying this badly wounded merman. I'd been feeding him ginseng and lingzi every day just to help him heal. Also, he could evolve into a once-in-a-century golden merman. Everyone told me I'd hit the jackpot, that forming a contract with him could extend my life by 100 years. But right before the contract ceremony, he swam over to my little sister and told her he'd found his true love, 100% compatibility. The whole family pressured me to let them be together. I smiled and nodded, but that same night, I had him pinned to a cutting board. Golden merman scales make elixirs, his blood is a beauty serum, and his flesh extends your life. Only an idiot would waste something like that on a relationship. My name is Gu Qinglin, heir to the Gu Group, one of the biggest medical conglomerates in the city. Everyone thinks I'm completely out of my mind. 3 years ago, at a top-tier auction, I put every single share I personally owned on the line and bought one half-dead merman. When his reinforced tank was wheeled into the Gu estate, the entire family gasped. Because he'd refused to be controlled, his previous owner had put him through hell. Most of his scales were stripped off. His tail fin was shredded like a rag. Where his ears should have been, just 2 hollow black holes. The merman was born deaf. "Gu Qinglin, have you lost your mind?" My mother's voice was shrill. Nobody would even take this thing for free. My father's face went stone cold. "There's a premium Snow Wolf King up for auction next month. You can still return this thing. Do it now." My little sister Gu Ruakshu took one look and backed away, nose covered, eyes full of disgust. "Sis, it reeks." Everyone said I'd been scammed. I ignored them. My eyes were locked on those 2 tightly shut eyes inside the tank. Because only I knew, those hollow earless holes weren't a defect. They were the mark of pure royal deep-sea bloodline. In the deep ocean, creatures only need to sense ultra-low frequency vibrations. Outer ears are completely unnecessary down there. Records of Deep-Sea Beasts, Volume 7. Deaf yet attuned, fed by heaven and earth, the golden form shall be reclaimed, carries within it the gift of eternal life. I grew up with my grandfather. He was brilliant. But even with a Tortoise King contract, he still died of old age at 300. At the very end, his Tortoise King, a creature that had lived 500 years, sat beside him and wept. His frail fingers gripped my hand. One word at a time. "Qinglin, the Gu family doesn't need 100 years of wealth. We need immortality." When he died, all his teeth had fallen out. His eyes had sunken in. He barely looked human. Old age. It's a curse that even a contract can't fully stop. I will not die like that. I want to stay young forever. I want to live forever. So when I looked at that barely alive wreck in the tank, I didn't see a broken creature. I saw an untapped gold mine. He's not a defect. I turned to face everyone. He's mine. I named the merman Kang Lin. I drained my personal savings and built a massive deep-sea simulation aquarium beneath the Gu estate, using the most advanced ecological life support systems available. Every day, I had the freshest deep-sea fish and shrimp, century-old ginseng and wild lingji processed into his custom feed. I fed him myself. I even set up a dedicated research team to monitor his vitals around the clock. Heart rate, scale refraction levels, concentration of rare active enzymes in his blood, all displayed on the big screen in my office every single day. Day 148, golden pigment mutation detected in scale-based cells. Coverage 0.3%. Day 301, abnormally high telomerase activity detected in regenerating tissue. Day 509, spontaneous repair activity detected in auditory nerve clusters. Measurable response to specific low-frequency sound waves. Every data spike brought me one step closer. Gu Ruakshu would wander into the underground lab sometimes. White dress, all wide-eyed innocence. "Sis, don't you get bored just staring at a fish all day?" She pressed her finger against the glass. "He's genuinely so ugly." I glanced at the real-time emotional response monitor. A clear disgust spike. Interesting, so even deaf, he could still sense hostility? After I figured that out, I actually stepped back from running the company and spent months grinding through dense, obscure academic papers on merman psychology, just to understand what he needed at every moment. Everyone was convinced I'd gone completely feral over a fish. Then the transformation happened, on a full moon night without any warning. The alarms went off. On the monitors, the entire aquarium was consumed by a violent, explosive golden light. The water spun like a cyclone. Kang Lin was curled at the center of the vortex, letting out a low, agonized roar. When the sensors converted the sound, it was like a tornado tearing through steel. His scales peeled off one by one. The water turned red, but new scales were already covering his body at a visible rate. Every single one shimmered with pure gold. And just like that, the transformation was complete. Kang Lin's silver hair cascaded like a waterfall. His golden eyes gleamed like twin suns. When his tail fin spread open, the light rippled and lit up the entire courtyard. His hearing had returned. His tail could now shift into human legs at will. And the first thing he did after the transformation was pull me tightly into his arms, his face, carrying the scent of the tide, pressed gently into the curve of my neck. In that moment, I heard my own heartbeat, a little off rhythm. Actually, merman nails and merman hair are also great for skin and anti-aging. Maybe I should just snip off his appendix and try eating that. Word of a golden merman appearing hit every circle like a shockwave. Congratulations, prying questions, and covetous stares came pouring in from all directions. Everyone said I'd gotten insanely lucky. stumbling into a legendary golden merman. Ancient texts recorded that forming a contract with one could extend your life by at least 300 years. Kinglin, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Lock it down before someone else does.